Hey boys and girls, it's Ron Bass with another edition of Soar High Personal Development, your source for many different things. Encouragement, motivation,
inspiration,
pop culture. Oh, we already said inspiration.
No, we didn't.
We didn't?
You said motivation first, I think, or encouragement. One of the two.
And maybe have some fun.
Of course.
Entertain.
Of course. Ron's mixed bag.
Make people smile a little bit in the course of maybe a difficult day. Put a smile on their face.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when I was really young, I would say to myself, what is it that you don't smile because you're happy because you smile.
Right.
So you could almost convince yourself that you were something that you didn't start off as by just, like, I'd put a suit on and say to myself, well, hey, maybe I'm successful. I convinced myself before I was.
Right.
So I'm not sure exactly the psychology of that, but it works if you stick with it. If you just try it once, you have to do it all the time.
Right. Exactly.
By the way, this is Mr. Davo over here.
That's me.
Mr. Davo Hunley.
Davo, how's it going?
Executive producer for Soar High Records, our producer for Soar High Personal Development, for our podcast,
everything,
for the Ron Bass Show, et cetera, et cetera,
et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
My right-hand man in all of my crazy endeavors on the podcasting side of our world, the entertainment side of our world.
I'm always ready.
You're born ready.
Of course.
Well, aside from all that, here's the topic that I picked for tonight before we get into some Ron's rants.
Sponsored by Barks Root Beer. Not really, but we want to be. Barks, if you somehow end up hearing this, sponsor us.
Yeah, it'd be great because we love your product.
We just want the product. We don't even need any money.
Yeah, we just want the product.
We just want the product. We'll shout you out every time.
There you go.
Yeah.
So here's what I want to talk about tonight. And the reason I want to talk about this is because I have a student in my martial arts business that has this problem.
Okay.
And I like to rub it in every once in a while. And he gets kind of mad at me sometimes. Okay. But basically, it's anger.
Oh, okay.
So what happened was he got really mad one night and he put his fist through a door.
Whoa.
So I asked him recently, I said, did that make you feel better? Did you think that was, looking back, do you think that was a good idea? I kind of got into that kind of conversation. He looked at me kind of like, like, come on, man, don't leave me alone.
Right.
But I said, look, I figure if I keep saying it over and over again, maybe it'll sink in a little bit to you that maybe there's a better way to deal with being mad.
I agree.
So I say this. So anger, where does it come from? How do we deal with it? Do we deal with it the right way or the wrong way? There's a whole lot of right ways. There's a whole lot of wrong ways, in my opinion anyway. Where does anger come from? Frustration, depression, not being able to resolve certain struggles, being uncomfortable. These are just some of my thoughts that I wrote down when I was thinking about the topic. But hitting the wall, is that really a good way to get rid of the anger? Is that really a good way to deal with anger? When I was a kid, I remember being so angry because my parents argued all the time. My dad drank a lot. My mother was real upset, and they would argue. And I remember getting out of my bed one morning, and I think I did hit the wall. I was probably like 8 or 10 years old. But I understand it. I mean, I get it, like it's a release.
Right.
But think about how people get really angry. They do horrible things like kill somebody.
Awful things.
I mean, like really awful things, right?
I've kicked a door. I kicked a hole in the door. Yeah, from anger.
Okay.
And no, it didn't help. It just escalated the situation, but,
So hitting people, killing people, or is it better just to go to the gym, maybe get on some medication if it's like an ongoing thing that never goes away, counseling. Look, I don't have all the answers, but I know this. You got to hit things head on. You can't put your head in the sand, so to speak. You have to find solutions because we're all human beings. We're all going to have problems. We're not God. We're not perfect. And anger is a big deal. And understanding how we get there and why we get there and how to handle it, I think, is a really important thing to talk about tonight. You got some thoughts on this, Mr. Davo?
I have dealt with anger issues, just more or less like anger at myself, like more or less like not being understood or not conveying my point in the correct way, if that makes sense.
Yes.
So then it makes me more angry, and then, it just escalates and escalates. And then eventually after the fact, you're kind of like, why was I even angry in the first place, You were angry for no reason, or like...
Well, no, it's not for no reason. Why did you get angry? You said because you were misunderstood. So, give me an example of where you were misunderstood. And was it a specific event, or maybe like over the course of time?
Again, it's more. Sometimes it could be a person. So you're having a conversation, and with a loved one, and you're saying, "I want you to do this for me," or like, "I need your help with this," and you explain it to them, and they don't understand. So then you feel misunderstood.
You feel like they're not getting what you're trying to convey.
Right. But say I'm the one conveying it in the wrong way.
So
does that make sense?
That makes you upset.
It could. You
feel like you were on a mission, but it went south.
Exactly.
I get
exactly.
You. That's interesting.
Exactly. I know it's a weird way to think.
No, I get it. So, does this happen a lot, or occasionally? Has it was a specific event?
It's been happening a lot recently. But I think it's overall stress. And not working out as much as I should.
Ooh,
I agree. I do agree with you. But
I notice a big difference when I don't work out. It's like, man, everything's so difficult. When I do work out, at least I can tolerate uncomfortableness.
Right.
And usually advance myself. But when I don't work out, ooh, man, it can be really hard.
See, for me,
I see why people drink. I see why people smoke. I see why people take drugs. Because it's the only way to cope with harshness and harshness of reality. Reality's tough.
I mean, I do agree, but that's what I'm getting to, like in the sense of after I'm upset with myself and I get angry and I'm just like, I'm flustered more or less, in less words, I'm flustered, very upset.
Yeah.
After about an hour, I'm like, man, I was upset for no reason. It was just. Maybe they didn't understand. Maybe I needed to explain it better. Maybe I need to go back. Maybe I need to go back in and try to explain it better, or say, "I'm sorry that I got upset." Because most of the time when I'm upset, I'll leave the situation so I don't say something I don't mean or do something I don't mean. Does that make sense? Like I don't want to upset that person.
So you're saying sometimes you just feel like you have failed at the process, so you just walk away
for just a second. And
then versus that you would want to try again to convey yourself in a way that they would understand you correctly? I mean, do you want to go back in and try again?
Yes. I always want to go in and say, hey, listen, I understand that I was upset and I may have upset you. I didn't mean to do that. I am trying to convey this point. What did you get from what I said? And they'll repeat, and then I'll say, let me add to this. Let me add to it. This is what I need. And then most of the time they're like, oh, okay. That's why I say miscommunication is 99% of problems. All problems are miscommunication.
You mean 99% of all misunderstandings in life are a lack of communication or lack of communicating better? Perhaps.
Yes, just in general, like losing opportunities or losing friendships, losing a business, like so many different things. It comes down to I didn't communicate properly, or this person couldn't understand what I was saying. Does that make sense?
So how do we get better at this? What do we do? What do we need to do to get better at this?
So when we were in school, like elementary school, we learned that if they ask us a question, we want to repeat the question to make sure that they understand the answer that we're giving, and then we give our answer. I know that seems like it's a lot.
Say it again.
Okay, so you asked me if Mary has 9 dogs on one side of the fence and 12 on the other, how many does Mary have together? And it says, well, if Mary has this many on this side of the fence and this many on that side, blah, 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 then you get this many. We have to explain ourselves, like explain your answer. That's kind of, I know it seems like a lot.
Yeah, it does.
This is like proper communication. This is how I learned it.
Okay.
For me, the more information that I can give someone, the more likely they are going to understand what I'm trying to convey to them.
I get you.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
That's what
You're communicating yourself properly.
Yes, correct.
I'm being facetious.
Not
exactly. No, I'm complimenting you, but at the same time, I'm making a point that I think if we sometimes you can use humor to diffuse an uncomfortable situation, right? Mm-hmm. And I tend to do that quite often when people get really upset and stressed out. One thing I have learned too about stress is that when people are upset with me, if I just let them talk.
Yeah.
And let them talk, and eventually, then they'll say. Then here's what usually happens. I'll be silent, and they'll quit talking, and then all of a sudden I'll hear, "Are you still there?" "Yes, I'm still here. I'm just listening to you." Well, blah 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 blah, and then I'll go through that again, and then they'll finally quit talking, and then they'll say, Did you hear what I said? Yes, I heard what you said. And you know what? I get where you're coming from. And I'm going to get off the phone here in a few minutes because I've got to get back. But I'm going to write this down and we're going to get back together. We're going to figure this out.
Right.
And, sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. But I always feel like at least I take things a full course. I'm like you, I don't want to just leave things broken.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a perfect world. I think we all strive for perfection, but the reality is there is no perfection.
There is no
God's
perfection.
perfect. We're not perfect. And I read an article about perfection. It was like that's people that don't want to admit they don't want to fail.
Right.
So they try to be perfect, but
Exactly.
it doesn't work like you're going to fail.
Yeah, and I agree.
Not completely fail, but you're going to have experiences that don't work out,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to just keep moving.
Yeah, you just have to learn from that. You have to understand that, and that is okay. It took me a long time to understand that, but now that I have understood that, it's like,
And
okay.
people that don't go through failure, this is really important, guys. Failure is a big part of the learning curve, because if you don't fail and you become successful, and then you struggle and you have problems, and then you don't know how to handle yourself,
Right.
That's why people jump out of buildings. My mother and father would tell me about back in the 1929 during the Depression, when the economy went to heck. They were saying people were jumping out of skyscrapers in New York because they were so depressed. They lost all their money.
Right.
They never learned how to deal with failure, and they couldn't handle it. It was just too. I failed so much that it's like failure to me is like I almost welcome it
Right.
because I'm comfortable with the idea of struggle. Does that make sense?
Yes.
I know I sound weird to say that, but
No.
I embrace that philosophy.
And I understand it completely. Completely.
I think of all the people I know, you're one of the people that probably understands that because you've struggled with me and you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So don't worry. If you start off with an idea and it doesn't go well, just keep going, man. Don't give up. You might have to adjust. You might have to get some resources like some people around you that know better, that know more, that can encourage you and mentor you and help you and be nice to you when you don't feel good. And you have to seek out those resources, but that's okay. You're not an island. You gotta have people around you to help you
Right.
to be successful. I'm not successful by myself. I got a lot of people around me that help me every single day.
Oh yeah. Same.
And it's a team.
Same.
Right or wrong.
100%. If I didn't have you or Jess or my artist, it would be very hard for me to do what I do.
But think about this.
Extremely hard.
Think about in the beginning, you basically were an island.
Yeah.
I mean, I was just kind of on the outside looking in, but you had to go through a lot of ups and downs to get to par.
Yeah, but we did it. That's
Well,
what
we're doing
We're
it.
doing
It's all a journey. There is
I
no
agree.
destination.
Right.
And
well,
I think
small
people
goals. Small
people
goals.
get too. I think about this a lot. People get too hung up on money. Look, here's the deal.
Oh.
You are always going to make money if you do the right things. Now, if you want to put all your self-worth on how much money you make, then that's you. But that's a mistake in my opinion.
I agree.
I told the story about how somebody wanted to buy our company one day, and I said to myself, I would never sell our company because it's not about money. It's about the pride that goes into the process of working your butt off and not giving up and going through the ups and downs and all arounds and going through the fire to get to the other side. That's priceless. There is no amount of money that could satisfy that.
I agree.
So I love sharing success with the people that are investing time and energy in my ideas, and that's where the money should go. But okay, so we'll kind of go back full circle. How are we doing on time?
We're at 15 minutes.
Golly. Well, we've been serious long enough, I guess.
Okay.
We'll get into some rants and some pop culture, and we'll
All
get
right.
into some fun stuff and Ron's mixed bag stuff.
Ron's
Yeah.
mix.
But one last thought about anger. Look, don't put your fist through any walls. Join a gym. Join an MMA gym. We have an MMA gym in our school of martial arts. We teach MMA, fighting, boxing, kickboxing. Hit a bag. Don't go out and hurt somebody because you want to release this anger.
Or
Do it the
put
right
holes in
way.
your wall. Don't do that. Don't put holes in your wall.
No, don't put holes in your wall. Besides that, it's really bad on your hand.
Exactly.
You're going to break some knuckles.
And then you got to go out to Walmart and get spackle and.
Yeah, that's right. And you got to clean the wall up, and that's money and time and energy, and a constant reminder that you did a dumb thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so much for anger tonight. Let's see what I got in my stack of stuff here. You know who I got that from was Rush Limbaugh.
Rush Limbaugh. I have not heard that name in so long.
Yeah, well, you know, he
one
was
of the OG podcasts.
Yeah, and he did it forever and died, a year or two ago from lung cancer, of all things. They say from smoking. He used to smoke a lot of cigarettes and he got cigars. But look, you can get lung cancer without smoking. But I remember I told you the story when my father passed and he had lung cancer, and the surgeon told me, he said, Ron, it's definitely from smoking. It's not, we can tell by the cancer.
Right.
So don't smoke.
Don't do it.
It's bad for you. Sorry. Not trying to preach. Okay. Let's see what I got here. I got stuff here if I can read my writing. Where did I get into this discussion about anal retentive?
Huh?
Yeah. People that are obsessed with detail. So I looked it up. People that are like obsessed with, I have a customer that like kept calling me over and over again, asking me the same questions.
Okay.
And I thought, that's a real obsession, right? But when are you going to call me? When are you going to show up? When are you going to this? When are you going to? And I looked it up, and it's called anal retentive. People that are obsessed with details.
Detail oriented. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just thought I'd throw that. That's not really a rant,
but I know some people like that.
Yeah. I mean, I think I'm kind of like that a little bit, but I'm not full-fledged though.
You're not. I'm a little bit more, and then Jess is a little bit more than both of us.
So we probably all cut a little bit from that cloth, but people that are like full-fledged that way, that's a problem.
Yes.
They need some medication.
Some.
I'm just saying. Okay, so here's a horrible story. It's a rant, but it's a horrible story. I'm in the martial arts business. I read this article in China where it was a martial arts school, and they were body slamming this 7-year-old kid. Now, that sounds like judo to me, where you throw people to the ground, but it might have been a martial art I've never heard of. They didn't get into the name of the martial art, but regardless, 7-year-old kid, second day in class, body slammed him 30 times. He died.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a horrible. Our school would we don't even come close to doing crap like that. You might do some, but if you've been around long enough and you do some judo throws but you have crash mats and it's set up. You're not trying to kill somebody.
Right.
And this poor little kid died from it.
It's crazy.
So they arrested the owners and the management. They shut the school down. But that's just crazy. It gives a bad name to martial arts.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah, that's just really terrible. Let's see what else I got here. I got all these crazy notes. I know what I was going to talk about. I was going to talk about functioning addicts, functioning alcoholics.
Okay.
Now there's another name. There's an offshoot of that. It's called high functioning and low functioning addicts.
Okay.
So you can be a functioning addict and do business,
right?
But if you're high functioning, it's even less noticeable.
Right.
And a low functioning addict would be somebody that can kind of get by, but it's kind of obvious.
You know what's crazy is I know a little bit of both of those.
I figured you might.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I'm always interested in titles and like labels. It's really all cut from the psychology cloth.
Right. It all stems from one.
It's this man. If
humans are so different.
If you're a psychologist, you got your work cut out for you.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, the brain is so
expansive.
Man,
expansive.
Crazy.
I had a biopsychology class in college.
And?
It was the hardest class I've ever been in my entire life. My entire life, ever. It was one of my last semesters. And I was in it, and I don't know why. It just sounded cool. Thought it was going to be easy.
Yeah.
And then it was difficult. But ended up getting, I want to say like a C. But it got me the degree. Either way.
Speaking of that, you did get a college degree.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And actually, I have a minor in psychology as well. So.
Well, I didn't get a degrry. I only lasted 2 semesters. I got kicked out of college.
It's all right.
Crazy.
It's all right.
I could write a book about that too.
It took me 6.5 years. So.
Well, let's see what else I got here that's interesting. I know what it is. I've got some music discussions.
Okay.
Music topics. So this week in the news, Madonna got sick, and she'd been sick for a month, but didn't go to the doctor. And then she got passed out, unresponsive. Took her to emergency hospital, ambulance, hospital, emergency ICU. They thought she might even die. I mean, it's crazy. But they blame it on the fact that she's worked so hard to do her upcoming tour. She's 64, trying to compete with 20, 30-year-old artists.
Right.
I don't really buy that. I think that she's probably very fit, very athletic, probably takes really good care of herself. I think she probably had a bug and just didn't, she's stubborn. And I think she just got sick and it took its toll. But now they're saying, oh, she shouldn't work that hard. I mean, all the critics, here they come. And to me, that's almost a jealousy trip. Because, look, she's earned the right to do whatever the F she wants to do. She wants to tour, go to have a big international show, that's her business.
Yeah.
And she's still going to draw a big number. Oh, but she didn't sell all of her tickets. Listen, man, when you're doing $200 or $300 million in a tour, I don't give a shit if you're selling all your tickets. You're still doing better than 99.999% of the rest of the musicians,
exactly.
The rest of the musical acts in the world. So leave her alone. God bless her. Let her be happy to do it. She loves what she does. And
right.
she's and I get it. She doesn't want to retire. She wants to do music. She's that person. Just
I understand
my thoughts on that.
I understand it. I think that
I don't like all the negatives that are associated with what happened to her.
I mean, I understand. I agree.
Okay, what was the other music story I wanted to talk to you about? It was about Bow Wow being real critical of the rap music.
Bow Wow.
Yeah, he thought that the stuff coming out is just nothing like it was, and it's just not good music. And he just went on and on and on. Then I read another article today saying that rap music's going through like a midlife crisis. Yeah, something
good,
like that. And so another negative article about rap and hip hop.
Good.
Comparing it to what it used to be and what it is now.
That's the point.
Yeah. So what do you think about that, by the way?
So, in my opinion, it's a good thing to go through this midlife crisis because everything's like changing. We want, like, at least from a musician's perspective, all of this like new music that's infused with hip hop is just creating this insane sound that we've never heard. So it's like
new music now. It's like
it's like we're putting stuff together and
crazy.
Really doing cool whatever stuff. We love. It's whatever we love. It's not like you have to make it.
It doesn't have to be labeled.
No, it's not hip hop anymore. It's just like whatever we want it to be. Like there's rap and then there's hip hop. Hip hop is like this expansive like whatever's hip. It's whatever's hip. That's the point.
Well, I like that. That's super cool. Looks like there's a lot of people out there hating on Jews, hating on transgenders, hating on homosexuality. It's just everywhere you turn now, there's so much hate. It's so stupid. Like, just live and let live, man. I mean, like, come on.
I agree.
Just who cares if somebody's a guy that wants to be a girl that wants to be a guy, or somebody's likes men and versus girls, or girls like whatever right. Guy. Who cares?
Nobody.
Why? In other words, what does it matter anyway?
It doesn't.
It's not our. It's like none of our business what somebody does in their life. It's their life. As long as they're good people and they're not hurting people and putting their fists through doors and beating people up. I'm just saying. I mean, it's like leave them alone, man.
I agree.
Live and let live. Okay. How are we doing on time?
We're at 24 minutes.
We're running out of time?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm trying to read my notes here. I guess some.
Give me a good one. Give me.
Give you a good one.
Yeah.
Down to my last note here. Let's see. Okay. One last thought here, and then we'll get out of here.
Okay.
So I've talked about this before. Everywhere I turn, it's like there's a project now, like on the street, like they're digging up the friggin' streets, or digging up the friggin' sidewalks. They're putting in, I don't know what they're doing. They're putting in new sewer pipes, maybe new cable lines.
Yeah.
And it's everywhere.
Yeah.
And you know what? The poor traveler has got to go through all these hoops to get to where he's trying to get to. They got streets closed off. Even right here close to my office, you have to go through all, not counting the dirt and the mud and the big heavy equipment you got to barely get around. I mean, what is the deal? Why? It's almost like whatever industry that is, they've declared war on the public, or they want to get their money. And I don't ever remember this much construction going on in the city ever. It's just crazy to me.
Go up to Kansas City.
Well, okay, but everywhere you travel, it's like this now.
Yes.
So what I'm getting at is, it's like, it's so unnecessary in many cases, in my opinion. They can take a perfectly good road and tear it up and read it. It's stupid. Put the money, to the homeless, or put the money to the mentally ill people. Put the money to cancer research. I mean, come on, man.
Something.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind when it's necessary. That's one thing, or progress.
I agree.
But come on, man. You don't need to be tearing up perfectly good streets and redoing them. I see it all the time. It's stupid to me. Okay, I'll shut up.
No, it's just I see them doing the ones that need it, like Division specifically.
Man. Look, Division. There's only. What have they done to make the traffic any better? They've got a middle lane. Nothing. They spent years and millions of dollars, and I'm driving by there today, and there's not even a new lane. So the traffic's not even going to move any better. Stupid.
I agree. But
it looks pretty.
When Division opens, it'll be nice.
Come on, man. It's not going to make the traffic flow any better.
It's going to make it smoother.
No, because there's no extra lanes.
Just smooth the
There's
road.
A middle
they
lane.
Needed to change
Come on,
the road. That road was getting
fine.
torn up. No.
Then fill in the potholes. You don't have to build a new road.
They've done that plenty of times and it didn't work. I've driven that road so many times.
I don't agree with you. All right.
This is now Dabo's rants.
Any closing thoughts, sir?
No. I hate road work too. I agree with you. But I don't agree with you that Division does need to be changed. I agree. I agree with that.
Division is a street in Springfield, Missouri. Where
it needs to be repaved. It needed this.
And believe me, if you saw the road, it looks pretty, but
it needed it.
What they've done has not helped anything.
It needed it.
Traffic's still going to be slow.
It was the bumpiest road in the whole city.
Whatever. Also, take notice on our YouTube channel, Soar High Personal Development. We have a new show.
That's us.
Called The Ron Bass Show. It's an entertainment show.
I've got a good one this week.
Show about music, new artists, their songs, and we talk about the music business, and it's a lot of fun. So that's now on our YouTube channel, along with our podcast that we're doing right now. All right, Mr. Davo, I guess we'll end it by saying, just remember, if you don't give up, the stars
will always
line up. So whatever you do, man, don't give up. Until next time, always stay positive.